This is the Krusty Krab, the most iconic restaurant in cartoon history. So with how iconic it is, you'd think we'd know it front to back, right?
Wrong!
Tell me, do you remember this room?
Every last pickle and patty must be accounted for.
Okay, maybe you remember that room. But what about this room?
What's all the ruckus?
Well, alright, it's probably just another storage closet. Any restaurant has a couple of those lying around the place. But does every restaurant have a secret room like this?
What is it?
That, me boy, is a grease trap.
In case you were thinking it could make sense that the Krusty Krab is a giant 100-foot deep grease trap under its floorboards, I got some bad news for you. Yep, no grease dungeon visible there. It'd be bursting right into the caverns underneath the Krusty Krab, which, if you didn't know, also exist. And that's just the start of the issues we've got. Trust me, for every dollar Krabs has stashed under his mattress, there's an inconsistency with this restaurant's existence. So gather around, Krusty Crew. I'm gonna tell you every reason why the Krusty Krab just don't make any frackin' sense whatsoever. But before we go any further, let's get the basics out of the way. This is about as close as we're gonna get to a canon layout of Eugene Krabs' moneymaker. 1 floor, 4 rooms. We've got the dining area, the restroom,
Look at me, I'm swabbing the bathroom. At night.
Mr. Krabs' office,
Ooh, sweet wampum.
and of course the kitchen. And if we want to get ultra detailed, we can also take a look at the back where the dumpsters are, like in the episode Sailor Mouth.
Taking out the trash, taking out the trash.
Now, okay, going off on that list alone, you're probably thinking the same thing as me. There's a lot of missing rooms, and yes, there are. But before we get to that, we actually just saw a pretty big issue in that clip of the dumpster area. Let's see if you can figure it out. Here's another clip of the back of the restaurant from the episode Just One Bite.
I gotta sneak one. Just one. Then I'm off the stuff for good.
Notice anything? No, it's not just the fact that the dumpster isn't there. It moves all the time in this show, actually. See, no, the real important difference there is the fact that the entire back door is missing. In the scene from Sailor Mouth, just gone. And it's not like the door's presence was a one-time thing. Here it is again in the episode Krabby Land.
Survival of the fittest, SpongeBob. Survival of the fittest.
Sure, the back door is now metal instead of wood, and the window's on the complete opposite side as we saw in Just One Bite. But you know what? That's a better problem to have than just not having a door at all. And in case you wanted to see a world where there's a back door and a dumpster at the same time, the episode Truth or Square got you covered.
Quick, into my office before anyone sees us.
Plain as day. There's evidence that they can all exist at the same time. If you want to debate me, please leave your name, address, and credit card info in the comments below, and I'll get back to you within 5 to 18,000 business days. Don't actually do that, please. Don't leave that. But all right, moving away from the back, let's start looking at some of the actual rooms that aren't mentioned in that blueprint, starting with the coolest of the bunch, the freezer. See? Coolest. Why aren't you laughing? So it's kind of odd that the freezer is missing there, right? I mean, this has been in some iconic episodes. Take, for instance, its first appearance back in SB129. Squiddy's doing his best to get away from SpongeBob and Patrick before escaping into the kitchen of the Krusty Krab, and there it is, the freezer as we know and love it. Unfortunately for Squidward, the handle breaks off before he can escape. He's frozen for 2,000 years, and, well, you know the rest. Thank you, Squiddy. But here's the thing. From that episode alone, we really didn't get a good idea of where this freezer is. We know it's in the kitchen, but not all too much else. Well, as it turns out, we get the answer as to where exactly this place is in the episode Nasty Patty, after SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs stuff the health inspector's body in the freezer, or so they think.
You mean in here?
Hey, you guys. Take that, you zombie!
Despite a zombie scare, we finally know where the Krusty Krab's freezer is. Based on how we're able to see the lookout of the register, we can see that the freezer is directly towards the back of the kitchen area. And if you want further proof of this, here it is plain and simple in Truth or Square. And yes, if you couldn't tell from the handle breaking off just as it did in SB129, this is the freezer.
My ode to the Krabby Patty, made entirely out of ice.
Pretty cut and dry, right? There is no doubt the Krusty Krab has a freezer. It's got a confirmed location, it looks pretty similar in most episodes' appearances. What could possibly throw any wrench in this room's existence? Well, I've got a request for you. Explain this shot from the episode Nature Pants. Pause. Take a look at the back wall of the Krusty Krab. Disregard that the back door is yet again missing and ask yourself, if that window leads directly to the outside, where is the freezer room? It'd have to be a big old rectangular room jutting out of the back of the Krusty Krab. And as we've seen time and time again, this is just something that the restaurant just doesn't have. And this isn't some small minor room either. It shows up a fair amount of times and is usually seen as a pretty sizable location, not small by any means. So, this room's either in a pocket dimension or it doesn't exist. Take your pick. I'll go with pocket dimension though. I frickin' hate non-Euclidean geometry. Now, if we're talking about rooms that are non-Euclidean, we gotta bring up one of the most iconic one-off rooms in the entire series, the Patty Vault. Issues is kind of simple. We all know the height of the Krusty Krab's kitchen. Yeah, not super tall. I mean, here's the literal background art for the kitchen, not tall at all. And then, we got the Patty Vault. That looks just about it's 3 times taller than anything the kitchen should be able to hold, but it only gets worse when you take a look inside.
Yes! Yes!
That's the type of room that could use a diving board. You could pull a Scrooge McDuck and start swimming in all those patties. If you wanted to cover yourself in week old burger grease, that is. So yeah, the issue here is that once again, if this place really existed in the Krusty Krab, it'd be bursting from the ceiling. And we know that's something that can't be happening because of the most illogical portion of the Krusty Krab in the entire series, but we'll get to that in due time. But there's another important missing room from that diagram of ours, the storage room. Or storage rooms. I don't know, it's complicated. So remember these clips from the intro of this video?
Every last pickle and patty must be accounted for.
That one's from the episode Imitation Krabs. Notice how the door leads to the dining area of the restaurant, as we can see the big window to the outside. Now take a look at this clip from Accidents-Will Happen.
What's all the ruckus?
Yeah, in all technicality, these are 2 different rooms. That one is clearly at the back of the kitchen, probably where the freezer belongs for all we know. I mean, it looks to be as big as the freezer. Look at how hefty this room is.
Why? Huh? What's this? Hold on a second.
Again, this should be jutting out of the back of the building, but nope. We know the shape of the Krusty Krab. It is, was, and forever will be just a giant crab trap. What, you didn't know it was a crab trap? Well, the more you know. And if 2 storage rooms isn't enough for you, why not toss in a 3rd? Here's another one of the episode, New Leaf.
I'll just put this in here for safekeeping. Join your other friends from the past. You hear, Plankton?
So before I get to the obvious, we gotta address the fact that the robot crabs from the Imitation Krabs episode is sitting in that storage room. The showrunners have gotta be taunting us, including the robot from an episode that features their inconsistent storage room in another episode with an inconsistent storage room. They're toying with me. They're toying with me! Anywho, time for the obvious. If we look back at that blueprint layout, this closet is where the bathroom should be. So yet again, we've got a room that just obliterates any form of spatial logic. Lovely. Eugene Krabs doesn't care for rules, whether they apply to monopolies or gravity. Oh, and just for fun, here's another closet that has no precise location whatsoever. Take it away, clip from Squilliam Returns.
What about Krabs and Patrick?
Taken care of.
I don't really have much to say about that one. It's funny, I'll give it that, but it still makes 0 sense. What is it with cartoon closets, man? Now, before we get to the aspect of the Krusty Krab that just completely destroys any sense of logic, let's do a quick lightning round for some of the forgotten yet still incomprehensible rooms of the Krusty Krab. Here's the trash room, only appearing in the episode Pat No Pay.
All you gotta do is throw all these trash bags down the trash chute. See?
Not gonna lie, that room didn't look like it even had an entrance, but lo and behold, it does, and it's hard to miss.
Huh?
Hurry!
I mean, with big red letters, there's no doubt you'd be able to see this door if it had any other appearances, but like so many other rooms in this place, it just disappears. Where was SpongeBob even coming from in that clip? It looked like a completely blank hallway. Now, we couldn't be talking about one-off rooms in the Krusty Krab and forget the garage, home of everyone's favorite motorized sandwich.
Feast your eyes, Patrick.
What is it?
The Patty Wagon.
But how do you get to the garage to access the paddy wagon? Well, you gotta go down. Way down. Yeah, they essentially went down 2 flights of stairs to get to that garage. So the Krusty Krab has a basement, apparently. Right, okay. Well then, I mean, how exactly did they get the car out of the restaurant? They take the car up the elevator and the fire poles to bust it through the window of the first floor. I'm not confused, you are. You know what? It doesn't make any sense that you can drive a sandwich in the first place. Why should I question the garage of all things? Now we've got Mr. Krabs' secret lair. What is he doing here, you ask? Well, I'll let Eugene explain.
Oh, Mr. Krabs, this looks like madness.
It's me secret lab, where I experiment on food.
Yes, that room is as Frankenstein-y as it sounds, and with the help of Sandy, the experimental patties cooked down here turned most of Bikini Bottom into hideous patty mutants. Real solid investment, Krabs. Bet you're glad you had this room constructed. Okay, but moving beyond the mutant apocalypse, we've got bigger priorities. Where exactly is this lab located?
Come with me, boyo.
Directly to the right of SpongeBob's grill, underneath the freezer. Let me remind you what's usually to the right of SpongeBob's grill.
I'm putting the secret Krabby Patty formula out in plain sight. Don't let it out of your sight, boyo.
You can always count on me, Mr. K.
Mr. Krabs' office. As cold of a boss as he is, that doesn't mean his lounge is a freezer. Here's a blink and you'll miss it room from just one bite, the incinerator room.
This patty should be cremated. What's this doing here?
Again, I got really nothing to say here. SpongeBob just jumps to the side of the frame and all of a sudden he's in a room that probably shouldn't be in a restaurant. What, did you want me to guess where this would be? Where the heck do you think this room would be? My guess is as good as yours, bucko. And before we tackle the most illogical room of all, let's talk about one that actually could kinda make sense. The employee break room. It was only shown in the episode Breakin', but it definitely made its mark. It only makes sense that Krabs would hide that under a million layers of wallpaper. It also makes sense how small the thing is. Being smooshed between the bathroom and kitchen kind of limits your size, doesn't it? But hey, you know what? It makes sense compared to the giant patty vaults and freezers we've talked about. I don't think we gotta worry about random jutting out with this place. It's time we talked about it. The absolute dumbest, most nonsensical piece of the Krusty Krab. It's air vents. The star of the show in everybody's favorite episode, Truth or Square. So just how inconsistent are these vents exactly? Well, they aren't even where they should be logistically.
There's an entire network of tunnels and air ducts underground, and I want all eyes on the lookout.
Underground air ducts? I guess that makes sense, but I feel like it'd just be a whole lot easier and cheaper to have above ground ventilation, right? I mean, we know Krabs is all about cost cutting. Well, sure enough, later in the episode, after the Krusty crew gets stuck in the freezer, you'd think they'd have replaced the faulty handles by now, we get a real shocking revelation.
This way, boys. All we gotta do is head through this duct.
Which one? There must be 20 ways to go.
Above ground vents? And a whole maze of them to boot! Yeah, Mr. Krabs' vents are in fact in the ceiling, even though that map from earlier showed them as being buried. Heck, later on in this scene, the graph still insists the shafts are under the floorboards, even though it just makes zero sense.
Hurry up, guys, this kinda hurts.
Well, according to the map, we just go straight and head towards that kidney bean-shaped puddle of gravy. Take a right between these 3 moldy tree stumps.
And again, I don't think I have to explain how a vent system this expansive could fit in a restaurant this small. But no, you don't gotta worry. Instead of whining about that, I'll whine about this instead.
Ah, barnacles, it's just a surveillance room.
So, let me get this straight. Mr. Krabs has an impossibly huge ventilation system accessed through an impossibly placed freezer that houses an impossible security room. I'd question why Mr. Krabs spies on us, but frankly, I'm asking enough questions about the spatial reasoning anyways, so there's no point. In case you thought that this room possibly could be underground, you know, maybe one of those pathways in that maze of a vent shaft took the Krusty crew down, think again, pal.
Oh, boy! We made made it out!
Yep, there they go. Right through a vent towards the ceiling. You know, a lot of people dislike this episode because it's too long for some reason. But I think you can guess why I personally dislike it. It throws the laws of reality in the trash, and as a realist, I resent things like that. If it's not funny, that is. See, I can put up with stuff like this all day because it makes me laugh.
What?
See, that's breaking physics for fun at Squidward's expense, poor guy. But that's all I got for you today, and if you want to see more nautical nonsense like this, check out the video on screen now. Until next time, avast, lovers! Thank you for watching.